George Cabela, your financial coach, back for another part of this financial goals and setting up for success. We're going to focus on eliminating debt and kind of closing out this particular seminar itself regarding really getting yourself on the right steps when it comes to your financial independence journey. So let's dive right in and see what we're going to learn now. So first question, as usual, average amount of personal savings decreased by how much in 2022? So inflation, all of the things that have been happening, all the buzzwords that you hear, people are dipping into their savings itself. So how much of a percentage decrease have we looked at in the past year? And if we look at those numbers, I think right now about the average personal savings, it's decreased about 15%. So average, between 73 went down to about 62 last year. So people are dipping into their savings, and that's retirement, emergency funds, all of those kind of things. We're trying to make things, make ends meet. And I think some of the things that we have to think about and really look differently itself is we get it. There's some hard times, but what are we looking to do to make sure that we are prepared not only to deal with the situation that's currently happening, but set us up for when the next time happens. I think that's the thing we want to keep in mind. Money myth for you. Smarter to buy a house than to keep on renting. So here's the thing. There's no bad. You need a house. You need a place to stay. So owning the house is a great investment to be able to save and earn future earnings in your home through that investment. Problem is sometimes we buy houses that we just can't afford. You got to maintain it. You've got to keep it up. Roof goes bad, you're cleaning it, you're doing it, you're fixing it, you're hiring somebody to do those kind of things. When you're renting, you still have a place to live, but all that maintenance itself goes to someone else. So I get the fact that we think we're losing money when we're renting. You have a place to live. And I think home ownership is a privilege. It's definitely an American dream, but we need to make sure that we can buy homes that we can afford. It's not just paying the mortgage and the taxes, but it's upkeep, maintenance, and fixing things when things go wrong. So if you can't afford beyond the mortgage, it's tough to be able to say I can be in the home and be able to save on those things. So keep that in mind. Renting is not a bad thing. There's no bad between, because you got a place to live, regardless if you're renting or you're owning the home. You need to work till 65 at least, or longer, till you can retire. And this one's a big myth. I get it. It feels like we can do it, and Social Security, collecting on certain things. But to be honest with you, choosing to work to 65 is one thing, but a lot of us are depending to actually work until we're 65. That's the big problem that we're running into. We need to change how we are normalizing so many things when it comes to money and depending on so many of these things. So for me, it's, I want to work until I don't want to work. That might mean I might retire from a corporate gig, but I'll then start my own business and we'll start going in that direction. But you have to have a foundation to be able to do those kind of things. Having a good savings, planning for the future, spending less than you make so you can have those goals in place and making those things a reality. Those are the things that we have to do. And to be honest with you, 65, 60, there's no guarantee that you're going to be healthy in those years. So again, that means you might need health insurance. You might need the money that you save to make sure that you're not a burden to the other people that you love in your life. So these are the things that we want to consider as we get older, but I get it. I feel like some of us do feel like we have to work until 65. So it's time to change that. And how do you do that? Well, there's another step to actually do that. Eliminating your debt. What does that mean? When it says, what are some of the things that we need to do when it comes to taking care of debt? And there's different methods of doing this. We talked about educating ourselves. We talked about saving and earning money, I should say, and doing what we need to do to earn that money and save that money. Reducing expenses that allows us to be able to not only earn more money, but to be able to actually do more with that money itself without having to have the burden of debt. But if you have debt, we got to eliminate it. We got to get rid of it. And how do we do that? What are some of the things that come to mind when you talk about that? So I'm always talking about the same thing, but it's all about budgets, budgeting every month, saving, putting a plan into place to not only be able to save, but it's also, if there is debt, eliminating it. Having a budget that allows you to not rely on debt to live, to do things. These are the things that you need to worry about. These are the things that you need to change in order to make those things a reality. Snowball and avalanche to pay off debt. So if I have debt, there's different ways to actually do it. What works will depend on you. What's going to work for you? Are you needing motivation? Maybe the snowball effect might be better. If you want to get rid of some of the high interest loans and credit cards, maybe the avalanche might be the way to go. If you don't know what those terms are, educate yourself in being able to pay off debt. But both will give you the opportunity to get out of debt and pay that debt and eliminate it altogether. Working with your creditors through your credit score. If you have problems or concerns or issues that we have regarding, regarding your credit, working with your credit companies, creditors, past credit that are due, those are the things that we need to make sure we have as well. So knowing your credit score, knowing, if you have past debts that you need to work on, make sure you're not ignoring them. Not a good thing itself. Get in front of those debts, pay them off as quickly. If you took the debts, it's time to pay them off. So work with the creditors to do those kind of things. You have options in regards to debt consolidation and loans. Know and educate yourself in regards to what options are best for you and making sure that they're the best solution for you to eliminate debt. There's different ways to do it, balance transfers, all ways to do these kind of things. Make sure we understand and educate what's going to be best for your situation. Bankruptcy is an option in regards to handling, but there is costs. There are pros and cons in regards to that approach, but making sure you understand exactly what's involved in bankruptcy and if it is best for your situation is something that you need to work through as well. Educate yourself, understand what your options are. But at the end of the day, we've got to get the debt out. We've got to change the habits, have a plan to be able to make more, save more, and be able to eliminate the debt that's in our lives. That's the foundation needed to be able to get those steps of success in our financial journey. So, what are some of the things you got to do? Organize your debt. You got to know what is out there. Set up a budget to be able to tackle that debt itself. You have to change your habits. So let's say you eliminate the debt, but if you don't change your habits, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have this sense of relief. And then all of a sudden we may fall to bad habits of spending again, impulse buying, and get us the things that got us into trouble the first time. They may be getting us into trouble a second time or a third time. So knowing those kind of things, knowing how you function, how your spouse, how you guys work when it comes to the emotions tied to those. Let's look for ways to change them so that we don't get into these situations over and over again. Don't take on more debt. Simple as that. If you have credit card debt, if you have loans, let's stop using the credit cards. Let's stop using that. If we need to buy certain things, we have to change our habits, change the way we think about spending money so that we don't run into those situations over and over again. In your budgets, if you have credit cards and loans, send more money than you have. Send more money than the minimum payments is what I meant to say. That's important in a lot of these situations as well. It's very important to be able to send more so that we can make progress on that. If you do a snowball or avalanche, you're going to send a lot more to those particular debts one at a time, but that is how you're going to get progress in eliminating your debt. And again, you're not alone. Gain someone, an accountability partner, someone in your family, a financial coach, someone who can help you when you have your setbacks. You're going to have setbacks in your process. You're going to have your budgets that may not work. You're going to have life happening that you may not be able to cover, but it doesn't mean you stop. It just means you have someone you can talk to, confide with, have that conversation, give you the motivation, tell you that you're okay and that you're going to make the progress that's necessary. These are the little things that you're going to look to do, but you're not alone. Look for ways and look for people to help you in this journey as well. But small changes each day are going to make a long-lasting change in your journey in this financial independence journey. Another money myth. I'm too old to win with money. Are you? That's what it feels like. But it's never too late to start preparing for your future. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, you get benefits from that, but it does not matter. What matters is that you start today. That's what matters in your journey. Make sure that you are starting the education part, making the changes necessary. Do what's necessary to get your journey started. You don't go anywhere if you don't start your process, and that's important. I will always be broke. Well, I mean, I feel like that's a myth, but sure, if you tell yourself that and you believe it, then you're probably right. But if you don't feel that's the right comment and you feel like you want to change, let's actually make that change then. Change the attitude, change the behaviors, change the habits to make that statement a myth. It shouldn't be true. You can make the necessary changes in your life, small changes each day that can make that particular emotion and that statement false. So it's up to you. What are you doing today to make that a reality? So what have you learned as part of these 4-part series? Well, to get out of debt, right? There's certain things you need to do to have your success in your financial journey. Record your expenses, having a budget in things for savings that are important to you. I want to save. I want to retire. I want to do that. You need to know your goals, though. What are your goals? What is it that you want to do with the money that you make? What's important to you? What do you value? Whatever those are, you need to make sure they're in your budget and they're reflected in how you're spending your money each month. What are the priorities, though? Well, I'm about to retire. I need to make sure I have a good nest egg. That changes the way you handle your money. My kids are going to college. That changes the way. Know the priorities in your life and set the budget to make sure it reflects what you're looking to do. If you don't have a budget, start there. That's a priority. Get your information, educate yourself. That's going to be important for you to be able to make your journey something that looks like you have a direction. And I think that's what you need to do, is start somewhere there. And of course, if you're setting your budget, saving, have your goals, everything's reflected, I guarantee you will see the results where you see your savings grow, your investments grow, and your debt reduce. One day at a time. That's all you can do. So what's your action plan, guys? What are things you got to work on? Well, if you don't have a budget, create one. If you haven't talked about your budget, talk to somebody. If you haven't talked to your spouse or your partner about it, talk to them. Create the budget and make sure you understand what's going into that budget. And then obviously, in that budget, you should be tracking your expenses against your income. What is that you value? Another thing you should be doing is just start saving. Doesn't matter if it's $25, $5, $100. Start saving. Make it automatic. Put it into your daily routine. Put it into your monthly budget and how you're tracking money. But you need to start in regards to that. Rainy days are going to happen. You need to prepare yourself to do that. And then, of course, if you have debt, focus on eliminating it. More money you have to save, the more money you'll have to be able to invest, the more money you'll be able to have to achieve those money goals that you're setting for you and your family. So don't be like me. Don't let Jason chase you down and take down your financial freedom and your independence journey itself. It's not going to be easy, but what I want you to do is just know that you have someone who's in your corner and who can help you out. So I'm your financial coach. This is my contact information. Please listen. I'm a co-host on the Crushing Debt podcast with Sean Yesner. Take the time to look us up in all the platforms that you listen to your podcasts. Have a listen. We do have fun in regards to how to handle your debts and different things when it comes to dealing with your financial journey. So really take a listen, and hopefully you can provide some insight into that show as well. But once again, I'm here as a financial coach to help you out in regards to your savings, paying off debt, knowing more, education, and really just setting a plan that lets you gain control and have a path forward for success. So George Cabello, your financial coach. It was a pleasure going through this parts of your steps in success. If there's any questions, please leave a comment, reach out. I would love to help you in your journey through financial independence and your financial journey itself. But it was a pleasure. Thanks for all the support. George Cabello, your financial coach, not here to judge, just here to help.